Hi, Deborah Roth here from Spirited Living. Delighted to be back with the next installment, the 11th in this series that I am presenting through the Wellness Universe on joy intelligence as a core life skill. We're closing in on the last one. This is the 11th in our series. Next month will be the last one. And our focus this time really brings together what it means to be in a joyful community. How do you create joyful communities? I will say before I get started, if you are watching this on YouTube, be sure to go over to the Wellness Universe and take a look at all their fabulous offerings for mind, body, heart, spirit, everything you can think of. And of course, if you're any kind of wellness practitioner, you'll find a wonderful community there. So let's look at this notion of creating joyful communities. And it's really, there's been all kinds of wonderful studies that talk about, and the one in particular that I love is a 20-year study that was done by Harvard and the University of California in San Diego. And it basically looked at how one person, one individual in any kind of community can create ripple effects. And if one person shifts whatever they need to shift to become happier, it affects not just their friends, but also ripples out to other friends. Think about what that means in other kinds of communities. This doesn't just have to apply to a friend circle. If you are at work and you really are focused on being optimistic, you can't run around merry sunshine, joyful all the time. But if you have that energy, if you carry the essence of joy, it affects everyone around you. It increases your level, and therefore, because of this ripple effect thing, it increases the levels of oxytocin, which is known as the hugging, the nurturing hormone. And when people observe that, when they observe you, when they observe each other in a community like that, it raises the vibration, if you will, of everyone in a family, with friends, at work. And so it's really kind of extraordinary the way that joy has a way of bringing people together. Whether you're talking about a big festival in your community or a birthday party or at work, when colleagues come together to celebrate birthdays. Those kinds of things that are about presenting and embodying an uplifting, joyful attitude shifts the energy around everyone. It really increases positive emotional experiences, which increases empathy. And so that you see people, you observe the people around you with more compassion. And it allows you, if you're feeling that, if you're upping your JQ, your joy intelligence quotient, then the effects that can have on everyone else are pretty extraordinary. It's really also, it's about building trust. And trust is easier to build when you've got positive energy flowing. You can celebrate all kinds of things together. And what that does then too, when you create that sort of atmosphere and whether it's a professional or a personal environment, you're increasing the sense of safety. When people feel safe in a work environment, they're able to be more creative, be more innovative. If they feel like people have their back in that environment, if you've consciously worked on creating this feeling of safety and presence, and it humanizes. That's another characteristic of creating this kind of joyful community. It humanizes everyone in the community, so that when times are tough, you can hold each other up. It's easy to be joyful when things are going well, but if you create that foundation of joy, of optimism, of positive connection, then when it really comes in handy is when emotions are high, or when there's lots of things going on in the world or in your work environment that are troubling and would likely, probably more often than not, bring you down. So I'm looking at my notes because there's some fun things that I want to be sure I don't forget. This was another point that goes with the safety piece, that sense of belonging. And when people feel known and valued, they're able to celebrate with you and for you, and that increases that JQ quotient in the environment so that you can enjoy each other. Now, here's a couple of concrete actions you could take in order to uplift, in order to increase the joy, the joy factor, the JQ in your community. You could organize small community events. I don't know that you could call it a joy event, but people might not get that. But you don't have to. All it has to be is something positive that brings a neighborhood together for a barbecue, or again, those birthday parties at work kind of thing. Anything that really elevates what people are, how people can connect with each other, bringing food and drink and encouraging people to show up just as themselves, knowing that once you continue to establish this, that sense of safety elevates the whole community. You could start a joy wall, either online, on Facebook or something, or even in a local coffee shop where people can post successes or positive outcomes of things that have gone on, or just uplifting news, thank yous to other people in the community and the organization. A place that you feel good going to, and that keeps that ripple effect of joy going. Let's see, you could, so this is a sweet one, practicing inclusive joy. I earlier talked about different flavors of joy. I don't remember, maybe month 2 or 3 of this series, or 4. And inclusive joy isn't one that I talked about, but I love it in terms of thinking about communities. And that's reaching out to people that you might not otherwise consider to come to an event, or to be, or to participate in something. It might be, in your neighborhood, people that speak a different language, or are otherwise disabled, other abled, just anyone who's on the periphery. When you bring the margins in, you strengthen the whole body, really, of the community. And then the last one I'll run by you, and then I'm going to lead you on a quick chair of joy, is to volunteer with a joyful heart. Typically, we're not volunteering for things that we don't have a really strong feeling about. You were maybe at an animal shelter, or tutoring, or whatever your jam is, whatever the things are that you like to do, and cleaning up a neighborhood park. A lot of these things can happen through work. Organizations organize all kinds of different ways to volunteer. So think about how you can do that, bring other people in, and make a particular commitment to bring this level of positive energy to it as well. Again, with that ripple effect of uplifting everyone's experience, not just your own. So, bunch of practical ideas for you, and just to get you thinking about how is it that you can be at the center of that ripple that spreads this sense of joy into your community, wherever it is. So let's end with, as we often do, you can close your eyes or not. I'm going to close mine just because it feels good. And settle into your seat, into a chair, the one that you're sitting in, or one that's a special one for our chair of joy. And at the first of the 4 steps is we sit, we breathe, and then we breathe. We sit in a place of stillness. We breathe into our bodies. We feel ourselves slowing down, finding that core of joy that exists in all of us. And then we think, we let conjure up, sit, breathe, think. We let conjure up a memory, a moment of joy with a group of people. Let's stay with the community emphasis here. Come up with a joyful moment that you shared with a community of colleagues at work, with your neighborhood, with your family, and really reconstruct that. Who were you with? Were you eating? This is definitely one where you're not by yourself. This is thinking about being in a community. And, were you eating? Were you drinking? What sounds were there? What do you see around you? Really recreate that memory, that moment beautifully. And then as you do, kind of identify what are some of the really wonderful emotions under that joy umbrella that you were feeling in that moment. Included, belonging, connected, safe, all those things we've talked about. And feel your whole body kind of fill up as you breathe in, bringing in all those feelings to your whole being. And as you breathe out, just kind of send them down and anchor them into the earth. And just sit with that for a moment. Feel all those feelings that went with that beautiful moment of joyful community. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and return to the rest of your life and enjoy a joyful rest of your day. And then join us for our last one next month, which is living joyfully as a lifestyle. Hope to see you then.